and gentlemen, welcome to the Rainy Day Pod. I'm your host, Adrian, aka A-Train87, man. And today I'm joined by a power couple, I would say. They do a lot of things for the Miami Dolphins community, sports, travel, and Ashley and Lou are all over the place in the South Florida sports world, man. So big ups to them. Just go ahead and introduce them. Let's get right to it. Our guests, Ashley and Lou. What's up, guys? How we doing?
What is going on? We're so excited to be on with you. This has been a long time coming, right? For the people who don't know.
Yeah,
And this is the week to do it. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but
Crazy week. Yeah, absolutely. And, again, we've been in contact for a long time now. We have obviously similar passion for our teams. And by the way, amazing intro. Saw it a couple shows back. I love it. I almost went out and got some popcorn.
appreciate it.
It looked like a movie was about to get started. So
we're not
Shout
awesome.
out, shout out Finn Sammy.
Yeah, but Sammy, he does it
Yeah.
absolutely great job.
Yes, sir, man. I'm excited to have you guys on. Like you guys said, it's been a long time coming. Definitely share similar passions with our South Florida sports team. Me, maybe not so much with the Marlins as much as Ashley has, but we're gonna let Ashley go on
Thank
this show
you.
about the Marlins because she deserves it this especially this week going 9 out of 10. But we're
Yeah.
gonna get to it, man. I just want to start off by obviously saying thank y'all, and I just really want to know how did the SoFlo Sports Show start, and and then also like to piggyback off that. Once you're done with that, how did your 305 sports travel start? How'd you get into that?
Well, I think to start is kind of just start how we started. Is really how it. I know I don't want to get mushy here. Right? This is not like a no. Lou and I have been together 5 years in this year, so we have been together a good amount of time, married for almost a year. And so, what brought us together, truly and sincere, is our love for sports, and that's why I'm with him, and that's why he's with me. I mean,
Yeah.
he's all right looking, right? But it's really the sports. If it was any other sports team, I don't know if it'd work. Truly and sincerely. So basically, we have our love for sports. We have a lot of other passions as well, and so we people, there's not many people who do what we do, like a couple. You'll have like a guy or a girl, and to have a couple, we kind of figured like, hey, let's just what we talk about in the bedroom or on the couch or on a car ride,
Right.
let's share it with everybody else and let them engage. So that's kind of how it started. Our first season was like it was called Bad Calls, Balls, and Brawls. And if you say that 5 times, you won't get past twice. So we're like, we need to rebrand this. So we did a little rebranding about halfway through, and we changed the name to the SoFlo Sports Show, and it better describes what we're doing. Obviously, covering all of South Florida sports, and then for 305 Sports Travel.
Yeah, well, I just want to piggyback on what Ashley said. Just look, it makes it a lot easier for me. I'm a sports nut, and she is too. And so it would have been difficult, was difficult in previous attempts to find a life partner.
Adrian, turn around for a second. Let's just smack the
No, because hey, if I got to explain to somebody, look, I got to watch games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the whole week, and then one season ended, and there's another season coming up. So
Yeah,
Ash gets it, and that's what we share this passion
Yeah.
for sports, and so that's what it was a big deal in having that commonality to talk about it. And then we rebranded, as she mentioned, to the SoFlo Sports Show because we wanted to cover all South Florida sports, everything that is happening in our amazing community, and really sports unifies the community. It brings everybody
Yes.
together. Doesn't matter what your race is, what your political views are. It doesn't matter.
Religion, any of that.
You see everybody at these parades, at games leading up to championship moments, and people are all soaking it in and hugging each other, high fiving each other, even though they may have different beliefs or
Of course.
totally different
Agendas, yeah,
agendas, whatever it is,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sports is a common factor in everything, and so we love it for that reason, and we want to share our journey with everybody else.
So the piggyback on that is we love to travel, right? I mean, that's like a passion
Yeah.
of ours. And we love away games, whether it's baseball away games. We've gone to so many baseball stadiums together. And so we've gone to Dolphin away games. And then I love to hold parties, right? So I started holding like socials. And then people are like, hey, where are you guys sitting? So we'd say, hey, we're sitting in section 111. And then people would try to sit by us. So then we're like, hey, why don't we just do group tickets? And they want to know what hotel we're at. So that's kind of where the seed planted for 305 Sports Travel is like, hey, we can do this, but we want people to join us. And then that's when we're like, hey, let's do the ticket, let's do the hotel, let's do the social, let's make it easy for people. And it's better just as a group because not all these away cities are like roses and stuff. You know, some of these are like enemy territories, and you want to be there in numbers anyways.
Right.
So it has been just a great experience. Obviously, to experience it with my husband, but then just experience it with people who have our passion, and to sit and high five when the Dolphins score, as opposed to hoping somebody from the Colts won't throw popcorn at you. You know, so it's
Yeah.
been a good time. We've had a blast, and we've done away games in Baltimore, Seattle,
Yeah.
LA, Indy, Houston, and then this year, obviously, we're doing Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta. So 3 new territories that we're excited about, and
Yeah, should be fun.
yeah.
That's awesome. And congratulations on the marriage, by the way.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we actually
Yeah.
built that around a sports trip as well. So we were already committed to going out to Seattle. And we said, hey, well, we're out there for the Dolphins Seahawks game. Let's go ahead and get married in Napa. But, you know, again, going back to what we're talking about, our wedding that we ended up having out in California was predicated around a Dolphin game. So, yeah.
So, Adrian, just to hit on that real quick, we were out there for 9 days, and out of those 9 days, 6 of those days were either baseball games, because we also saw the Oakland A's, we also saw the Seattle Mariners and the Giants, or baseball tours. So the average woman would think, hey, it's my wedding, da-da-da. Me, I'm like, no, like baseball tours, games. So I think in the other 3 days, I think one was like a wine tour and the other 2 were travel days.
Yeah,
So I mean, and I wouldn't have it any other way, you know. So it really works for us. It wouldn't work for most people, but it does work for us.
Yeah.
Cherish it, Lou.
He don't know.
You don't get many. You don't get many like that. You don't
Let
get
him
many
know.
like that.
Let him know. Let him know.
That's it. That's it, man. You guys have a favorite away game that you like a favorite away stadium or city that you like? We have to go there almost every year, something like that.
Adrian, I'm so glad you asked that. So Lou's not going to like my answer, but born and raised in Jersey, you signed me up to go to the Barclays Center, MSG, MetLife, any day, all day. I get to see my teams that I'm passionate for in where I'm from. I get to see my family, get to go home and experience the food. Send me back to MetLife, Barclay, MSG, any day, all day.
Yeah. So
you're not the same answer. Don't act like that. No.
I like the party. You know, when I go to whenever I go to a city, it's predicated around a sporting event. But I like to go up and I want to see the biggest building. You mentioned food. I love to eat, the food and get out there and experience. Yeah, come on, right? Experience the flavorful food and whatnot. So I'm going to say New Orleans. New Orleans has got it all, man. You just saw it this past year in the Super Bowl between the Eagles and the Chiefs. No one hosts a Super Bowl better than New Orleans because of all the parties on Bourbon Street and the amazing food, the po' boy sandwiches and the Cajun food and drinks for days. So yeah, I prefer that than going to. And no disrespect to Indianapolis, we had a great time last year.
Yeah.
I really wish we would have won that game. Unfortunately, Tim Boyle finished that game, and Snoop Huntley started it. So we were up against it to begin with. But besides that loss, everything else about Indianapolis was fantastic.
We had a blast.
Indianapolis is the Midwest. There's no water out there. You're not going to have a party scene. Not that I'm Mr. Club guy, but you want to go out there and have a good atmosphere and be able to have an enjoyable trip. So a city like New Orleans is one that I would pick.
You said tall buildings and food. I think you meant New York, but okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm all for the food, man. That's why I like traveling. I love trying different types of food, and then every city has like their own, I want to say like duck off spots that have like the best food. So it's always great to go out and just tear some stuff up, man, for sure.
There's no diet when you travel. Every time Lou says,
"Oh no,
diet," I said, "No, don't get the egg whites. You were on vacation. Get the regular eggs." Like that's one thing that drives me crazy about them. You start it when you come back. Eat,
That's it. You do, right? Yeah. When you get back home, that's when you go on the diet.
Absolutely.
You know everything here.
Lauren, thank you.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, man. So I want to talk about the Miami Heat first, just because it's probably the least, more rumors than anything with the Miami Heat going on this week. But we did have, which I thought was a great first round pick at 20. I'm gonna go with KJ because I don't want to butcher his name. But Lou, you said it well. You said it well.
He says it in his sleep. He wakes up and he goes, "What are you saying, KJ, bro? KJ." He says it all the time.
Oh man, but I feel like it was a great pick.
Yeah.
The he's very young. He's been playing against, adults
Men.
for most of his teenage years. Granted, be overseas, but you still playing against men. But yeah, and he gives us everything kind of that we needed. So how do you guys feel about the pick? We were both on Bobby's show at separate times. We've been on a couple shows together, but not together. Because we were on Fence TV. I was on, and then I left, and you guys came on. Then Bobby's show also the same thing. I was on, and then you guys came on later. But how you guys feel about the pick? You were there when they announced it.
Yeah,
So
so with me, as you know, the Heat haven't been always big on draft picks, right? That's just been the culture for some years that they're kind of just whatever. And then they kind of developed this new culture of really investing in their draft picks. My approach in it is that I trust in Pat Riley, and he knows what is needed in the system. We know now kind of that the approach he's going to take this season is he's going to use a lot of the younger talent that we have. One of my big concerns is Bam Adebayo, right? And I do believe that a big man is really, really needed because we don't get Bam 2.0 every game, right? We get like a
Yeah.
Bam 1.0. And is he aggressive both sides? Not always. So am I disappointed in the pick? No, because I trust the system. I really, if anything, I trust the Heat drafting more than the Dolphins. I know we're not going to compare apples and apples. The Heat have proven that they're able to take young talent and develop it. So I'm okay with it. I'm excited to see what KJ's future holds. There's some veterans on the team that I'm sure will be great role models to him. Spo and Riley, it's a good culture that he's gone into. So I give it about a B plus.
Yeah, I think it's an A+ move because it's a guy. It's a position of need, right? Yeah, we signed Davion Mitchell. Mitchell's a little limited offensively, uh, and I would say he's not the best defender.
dog,
He's not your
dog.
traditional. Yeah, he's not your traditional. Oh no, total dog. I'm getting there, and
Yeah.
not your traditional point guard, but the
Okay.
guy you want in the locker room. To your point, total dog. Gets steals, gets dirty, down and dirty on the floor, plays lockdown defense. So he does a lot of things well, but he's a streaky shooter, and I wouldn't say he's the best passer. This is a guy that's coming in that's rated as a better passer and a better shooter than him. Obviously, at not the same level, he's got to prove it that he could do it in the NBA. But so because besides Davion Mitchell, your backup point guard is likely Terry Rozier. You need exactly. So you needed to address the point guard position. A lot of people thought the big men, but you got, as Ashley mentioned, you got Bam and you got Khalil Ware. Khalil Ware in year 2, rounding into his body and really becoming more comfortable over the course of an 82-game season. I expect big things. And we also signed a kid out of FAU, Michigan, but FAU undrafted as well. Funny fact, the last undrafted guy out of Michigan, Duncan Robinson, right? He had a pretty good career with us. So, but here's a big man that played in the Final Four with FAU. Went over and transferred to a big time program in Michigan. So I think he could have a big role as a big man. So no, I love the move, and also to Ashley's point, that the Heat have proven under Pat Riley, under Spo, under Adam Simon, that they can bring in young talent and develop them.
Yeah.
You're talking about guys that have left us, and Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin was a huge part of this team.
Yeah.
And these are guys that didn't have any success elsewhere. They come here and they find their way in the league. So
and Max is coming off a great year at Cleveland. Look at Cleveland
another,
had a nice run.
Max Strus as well.
Yeah,
Always got to trust, in my opinion, in what this organization has done in bringing the young talent up.
Yeah. I love the move. And I love the big man, the undrafted guy, just because you can't put Bam at center anymore, especially with Khalil. I think Khalil's special. I think he is a special talent, and if we develop him right, which you guys kind of said, hey, we develop talent. That's literally what we do. We're almost like a college team.
yeah.
We get them ready for the pros, and then we ship them out. It's like, come on, man, let's keep some of them boys home.
Right.
But yeah, you can't have Bam at the center anymore at all. So those great picks, and then this guy is gonna he's gonna show us something, I believe, before maybe mid-season, before the trade deadline. But we got to get shout out Sammy. Hey,
Sammy.
we definitely got to get Terry off our team though, like
Big
as
time.
soon as possible. For sure.
Yeah, I get so frustrated just looking at him at this point because, and I mentioned this on a few shows before. It's one thing if you're a veteran player and you're like a placeholder, right? We kind of saw that with Donis Haslam as he got older, right? He didn't get much playing time, but he was still a leader and he was still a veteran and he was still a role model to the young guys on the team. Terry Rozier is none of that. He is just a placeholder. He's not pumping these guys up, talking to them on the bench, talking about locker room, giving them pointers, this, that. He is none of that. I'm not comparing him to UD, but I am. UD was older and he still knew his role. Terry is just sitting
Yeah.
there, just wasting space, and it is aggravating. Obviously, he won't be the player he used to be when he was younger, but his attitude and his demeanor and just everything about him is just so frustrating. He needs to go away.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
I feel the same way.
you had the gambling allegations that he had earlier in the
Well, no
year.
one's
You know
perfect, but
that,
still.
that didn't help either. You know, so yeah.
Him not playing well kind of made that never go away
Right.
either.
Yes.
So, so we done had a lot of rumors too about players. We got Dame, Giannis, even LeBron. There's, a trade with the Lakers rumored for a first round draft pick, Dalton Connect and Hachimura. How do y'all feel about all these rumors, and do you feel like we could ever get one of those players? I feel like we should stay with the youth movement and just try to build this team up and not go after one of these older vets that's, injury histories. And Dame, I'm good with Dame. Like I really don't want Dame anymore. Maybe we got Dame 4 years ago, but not this Dame. The injuries and everything, man. He's getting older. LeBron, that I don't feel like that's even like a possibility, but it could be. And then Giannis is probably like the number one I would go with, like because you got 10 more years of Giannis, easy.
Yeah.
But how
So
do y'all feel?
you mentioned rumors, and I have to tell you, it was last year we're at the Sawgrass Mills Mall. We go into the Adidas store. Lou's looking at shoes, and he's like, "Babe,
2 years.
2 years ago, 2 years ago." He's like, "Babe, I need these shoes." I said, "Papa, you don't need more shoes. You have enough." He goes, "No, I need the Damian Lillard shoes. He's coming to Miami. I want to get them now." So he bought the shoes. Long story short, they're in our bedroom, still in the box.
Yeah.
So the whole rumor train, I'm over, right? Over, over, over. Now, where
Same.
I'm a little different than you, Adrian, here in the sense that I know we have younger talent, but I think we are still missing a puzzle piece. I do think we need a veteran player to kind of manage these younger guys. You have coach and staff who will do their job, but I think you need more of somebody at their level on the court with them that's going to mentor them a little more. So out of those three, I stick to it. I stick to it very strong. I want Giannis. I want the Greek freak here. I think that's more projecting in 2 years. I think a lot needs to happen for Giannis to come here. I think LeBron's ship has sailed. Damian Lillard, I think that's a lost cause as well. But I do think, I know we have a lot of young talent, but I think we need a veteran. I don't want this to be a rebuild year. And I think we need somebody who maybe has 3 or 4 years left of their career just to kind of, even just to help develop these younger guys and just to keep us competitive this year.
A lot more than that.
Well, I know, but I'm saying if it's not Giannis, if it's not one of those three, just get me a veteran player to be a leader, to help these guys develop, and to make us competitive this year.
Yeah.
Right?
So
where you at?
I think I'm with you, Adrian. I think the youth movement is what needs to take precedent right now. Giannis is a different story. He's in the prime of his career right now. Kevin Durant is a guy that I was non-negotiable on, bringing him here. Just didn't make sense to me. A guy in his last legs, so I didn't want that to happen. So thankfully that didn't take place. But, I think you got to have these young players develop and see what you got in them. Jovic is still 20 years old. He just turned 20. He's got 3 years under his belt, and he was hurt this past year. Came back and was rushed into that series against Cleveland, which was a disaster anyway. But I would love to see him stay healthy and get actual playing time and have a shot at proving what he's got. Same thing with Jaime Jaquez. He had a setback last year, sophomore slump. But his first year, he was a big surprise, and he's a guy that was a 4-year starter at UCLA. So that he's a proven college player. He knows how to do that. You got Pelle Larson, who is another guy like Davion Mitchell. He's a dog, right? He dives on the floor. He goes after it. He pumps up the crowd. So, you got players like that. And even like a, Haywood Highsmith, who was, not a rookie anymore, not a younger player, but he's a guy that is very athletic. He does it on both sides of the floor. He's developing his shot. So
Yeah.
I want to see what we have in these guys. Didn't even mention Khalil Ware, and this year's draft pick. So you got guys that are going to be coming in here that are going to have a chance to prove their way, prove their worth, and then you'll be able to know who you want to keep and stick around and who you want to get rid of. And if a lot more of those guys pan out that don't, and you're looking at Milwaukee this time next year that they're struggling or whatever, maybe at that point Giannis can force his hand and force a way to Miami.
See, my only concern with what you guys, especially what Lou's saying, is that it sounds like so experimental, right? You're like, this guy could be, this guy could be, this guy could be, and then you're going against teams that have veteran players or have players who have proven records that have been in the league for 1 or 2 years, and then you still have a season to compete against. You can't wait for these players to develop. So that's my only concern with that. And I want to believe in the system. I want to believe Pele Larson and Jokic and all these guys are going to be amazing. 2-3 years are going to keep developing. But what do you do now? What's the now? That's my only concern.
No, now you got to take your lumps, in my opinion.
Hey,
you got to take your lumps, and that happens. How many cities have gone decades, multiple decades without winning anything? We're coming off an NBA Finals appearance just 2 seasons ago. So I think this, everybody take a deep breath, take a step back. You have to have some of these years. It's just, it happens in sports, and this appears to be headed to one of those years. But hopefully, at this time next year, we're going to know who these players that were on the rise are and who the players that we need to get rid of are as well.
With Giannis.
With Giannis.
Just
I love what you said. Ashley, saying we need like a veteran, but I feel like Bam is supposed to be that veteran. You know what I'm saying? He's going on his 9th or 10th year in the league. Like he's supposed to be that veteran presence that we need. So I feel like he's supposed to be the guy. So they traded away Jimmy so Bam could be the guy.
Right.
And this year I feel like we're gonna find out. Is Bam and Hero like who are superstar players, are number ones? I don't feel like they are. So I definitely think you need someone like Giannis, a number one, especially a scoring option, because Bam could disappear in a game. And Tyler, although he just coming off his best year ever, he could definitely, get missing for a few games here and there. And this is like the first full season that he's done it consistently. So I'm a little worried about that too. But
because he's had to,
we'll
he's had to step up tremendously. I mean, he's had no choice with the whole Jimmy Butler fiasco.
Yeah, but look, he's due a big contract as well, and I'm with you. I don't know that you can give all that money to Tyler Hero. Tyler and Bam, both of those guys are good players. They're not great players. They're not stars. They're a good number 2 and really a very good number 3 on most teams.
Mm-hmm.
Bam being more because he's a well-rounded player, even though, and we're going to hope that he's going to get his game right this upcoming year, get back to the basics, because last year tried to incorporate the 3-point shot. That didn't work out. So hopefully playing alongside Khalil Ware, he's able to get back to his game and be a solid player on both sides of the ball, which obviously Tyler can't do because he's not a good defender. So we'll see. But at the end of the day, none of those guys are going to be the star player on this team or any team. So that's where we need to address that. And, we'll see how it goes moving forward.
And there's another rumor I wanted to talk about with you guys, because I just saw a lot of this today on my timeline, especially, and that's the Nick Harrison versus Pat Riley. There's a rumor that Nick Harrison is, he doesn't want to do the same thing as Pat Riley, and he kind of overriding him, and that's what people are saying is slowing down the development of this team as far as who we're getting. They said that Pat wanted to trade Terry and Nick overrided him. So yeah, this is legit. It's been out there, especially today. A lot of it. Even on the Dan Levitar show, they talked about it. So how do y'all feel about that? Y'all think Pat getting handcuffed?
I can't.
That doesn't sound right.
I can't see that happening.
Yeah.
But Pat Riley, more than anybody in this town, except maybe Bill Zito at this point,
different level.
deserves a pass. I mean, this guy, what he did with the Showtime Lakers, I know kind of before our time. I was a very young kid, so I didn't get to appreciate that. But the guy, won 5 championships with the Showtime Lakers. He won with the New York Knicks. Who would have thought that he would have, won with those Knicks teams that, he was one game away, Game 7 in '94 against the Rockets, from winning, the Knicks championship that haven't been done since the '70s. So he retransformed that team. They actually got to a second NBA Finals after he left, but that was his team. And then he came here, and he's taken us to 7 NBA Finals. And he's had 3 different versions of those Finals teams. The initial one with Wade and Shaq, then the Big Three, and then the Jimmy Butler era. So he has reinvented his team over and over and over. I appreciate Nick and the Harrison family for all they've done here. They've made it a model franchises and all that. But at the end of the day, this franchise is where they are today because of Pat Riley. It's the only reason, and so he deserves all the benefit of the doubt. Like I mentioned, you're going to have down years. This appears to be one upcoming. Unfortunately, I know fans don't want to hear it, but you got to look bigger picture. You can't make an irresponsible move just to appease, somebody and try to, shake things up just to make a move for the sake of making a move. There's got to be a plan to it, and there's no better planner than Pat Riley. So I disagree with that. Again, love the Harrison family, but I'm Team Riley all day, every day.
Yes.
I'm exactly where you're at. The only other thing that I would add is that all through this whole Jimmy Butler thing, right? You saw some really like OG diehard Jimmy Butler fans say like, oh, it's Pat Riley's fault. They can't play and no one can play under Pat Riley. It's terrible. And I stood by Pat Riley. So many of us stood by Pat Riley. I really believe that Pat Riley isn't the problem. Pat Riley won't be the problem. If you want to talk about upper management issues, it is not with this franchise. It's with the franchise in Miami Gardens. It's not the franchise here. So it's not Pat. Jimmy Butler had problems in many other cities that he played for. And is Pat Riley perfect? No, but he's proving successful, like you said. Is he everyone's cup of tea? No, but everything's fine in the world of Pat Riley and the Miami Heat and the culture. And his age has nothing to do with it. And he's fine. Everything's good.
I don't believe it, but rumors are rumors, and where there's smoke, there's fire. So definitely could be something. And that guy's like 40 years old.
Yeah.
Come on, he's ownership though, So
no, you got to respect that. He's Mickey Harrison is a big boss, but Nick is being groomed to obviously take over the team. So, but man, I don't think in any NBA community is getting rid of the Godfather, going to be a good move. So,
definitely not.
I say he stays here until he wants, and I always will trust the Pat because he's done it before.
Same.
Yeah, if he was to ever think about acting stupid with Pat would get a job the next day if he ever left the Miami Heat. The next day, probably within an hour that he's gone. So, but yeah. Well, you want to talk about Miami Gardens? Let's go ahead and unbox this one. The Dolphins and their mess always. I mean, trading. You got Jalen and Jonnu gone. We get Fitzpatrick back. How do y'all like that? How y'all feel?
All right, so I'll start it, and I know you'll kind of finish my thought. We hit on this a lot, and we've been hitting on this. Jalen doesn't want to be here, right? And there's probably a few more players that haven't voiced it, but Jalen obviously has been the most vocal about it. So essentially, he got what he wanted. Jonnu's coming off a great season. He wanted more money. We're not willing to pay him that. And then, so talks with Pittsburgh. All right, Pittsburgh, Fitzpatrick. Never in a million years did I see that coming back happening here.
Yeah.
Right? So that was very interesting. But I'm a firm believer, and I'll say this with Jimmy Butler. I'll say this with any franchise. If a player doesn't want to be here, they're going to show that on the field. They're going to show that on the court. They're going to show that on the ice. You can't put on a smile and expect to have their best performance if they just don't want to be here. If it doesn't bring them joy, if they're not happy with the culture, if they're not happy with the team, if they're not happy with the coach. Obviously, Jalen wasn't, and then Jonnu just wanted more money. So something had to break, and that brought Minka back home. So
yeah, I mean, and I would say that look, if you look at the trade on paper, it looks like the Steelers got the better package, right? You get the All-Pro tight end, and you get the All-Pro champion cornerback. So yes, it looks better on paper from their perspective. But look, we were in a lose situation, if you will, because unfortunately Ramsey was already going to be given up for nothing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the Dolphins came out and pretty much said that we were going to move on from him. And at that point, once you show your cards in poker, the other team knows that they what you got.
Yeah.
And in this case, the Dolphins were not going to get any near value for Ramsey. So they had to. This was almost like a forced move for savings purposes. But look, they didn't get the cornerback, but they got a safety, and secondary is obviously an area of need. Minka Fitzpatrick is a familiar face down here.
Yeah.
He played here for a season, and he's had a good run in Pittsburgh. The last year or so have not been up to his standard, but hopefully coming back here, he's able to re-energize and refocus under Anthony Weaver, who's done a tremendous job as defensive coordinator. So I'm excited to see what it brings back. Again, I feel that this was a move that had to be made, and given the circumstances, and again, I am not a Chris Greer defender, but in this case, I think all things considered, this trade worked out for what we needed to get done. And of course, there's a second part of it. I'll let you get to that as well.
Yeah. Definitely credit where credit is due. He got the best, I feel like the best trade possible because, of course, Jalen was going to probably walk away for nothing. They were talking about 5th-round pick for him, and we got Minka Fitzpatrick, who I feel like, yeah, his play is going to be good, but the culture he brings in, that dude is a dog. Like he's not one to be messed with. So I feel like that we want to talk about culture change with the Dolphins. That's a good starting move right there, or adding to what they already have that they say they have right now. But and then I was like, damn, Chris Greer, you did pretty good, man. All right. And then the next day he goes and makes just an outrageous one, going to get Darren Waller, retired, been retired for a year from the Giants. I have no words for that one, just because
Yeah.
we don't know what it's gonna look like, and it could be good, could be great actually. Dude has a year off, fresh legs. Some people would say, but and we'll see what type of football shape he's into in training camp. But this could be like just a terrible decision to let Jonnu go and then bring this guy. It could be so bad. What
You
do
make
y'all think?
Yeah, no, you make a good point. Now with Jonu, he had a great year last year. We don't know what this year brings, right? You want to
True.
wish him best, but we'll see. So with Waller, he's retired, right? We don't know what he's been doing off season. Has he been in Cancun? Has he been eating Twinkies, or has he been hitting the gym every day? We don't know. Another thing to consider, he played with the Giants. The Giants have been irrelevant for the past few seasons. So he's not coming off a team like Kansas City or the Eagles or the Bills. So he's been with a struggling franchise. But he has been a Pro Bowler. He has played with the Raiders. But what's really going to tell us the type of player he's going to be in training camp. What's he going to look like?
Yep.
Is he in shape? Is he not? We need a tight end, right? McDaniel has incorporated tight ends in, the offense, and obviously with Tua and everything. So it's a position that we obviously could use and need, and a veteran player to that level. But we just don't know. It's like a big question mark right now. Like we want to hope that it's all going to be well. It's just a 1-year contract. But we don't know. Like we don't know how to feel right now. I think that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It does.
Yeah.
When the news came out, it sounds like a move out of left field, a crazy move. But look, essentially, you're paying him $5 million to come out, which is $1 million more than John wanted, and we weren't going to give him $12 million. That was crazy, as he was such a big part of our offense last year. But how many people dropped off in production? Raheem Mostert, who he said a couple things about the Dolphins, in the last couple of days, but he dropped off big time and was hurt and had 2 big, fumbles in games that could have, meant a playoff spot for us.
Lost those games, yeah.
Yeah, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, they dropped off big time. So that was why Jonnu Smith came up. But was that worth paying a guy $8 million on a raise? I don't see that. So essentially, yes, you're taking a big flyer with Waller here, but the upside is a lot better than the investment that you're making, which it turns out is just a $1 million investment. Jono was
Yeah.
being paid forward. He's getting $5 million. So you're taking a shot. I think you're expecting, not so much Raheem, who's gone, but you're expecting, Jalen Wright, you're expecting Achan, and now Ollie Gordon, the draft pick here, who's going to be your third running back and potentially could be your second eventually. You're expecting the production at the running back position to be a lot bigger, and you're not expecting another down year from Tyreek and Waddle. So you don't need your tight end spot to be crazy. Also, the player out of Tennessee right now, Hines, the receiver out of Tennessee, we got. He had a couple good seasons with the Titans, so he's going to be a factor as well, as opposed to Odell Beckham last year, which was a disaster, and River Craycraft, who unfortunately got hurt a lot. So we have a lot
Malik Washington.
And Malik Washington as well.
Watch out for him.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. He'd be slotted as your fourth best receiver, I would say, because the kid from Tennessee, but still, you're going to have multiple targets, and I don't think the drop off at the tight end position is going to be as noticeable because you have so many other guys that hopefully are going to have successful seasons.
I will tell you that when I saw that we're kind of like in search of a tight end, I kind of tweeted, and I meant it, but I didn't mean it. More, I didn't mean it. I was like, Anthony Fasano, what are you doing out there? And obviously, I'm his only and biggest fan out there ever. But I'm like, I know he means so much to me, and we saw him in camp the last 2 years. And I'm like, hey, if we're just looking for guys off the street who can do what he needs to do at tight end position, call Fasano. He can put on that 81 and do the business, right? Like, come on, give him a shot. He's not that old.
Get to a spot and turn around.
Right,
that's his best play.
Yeah. Put him out there, coach. I'm ready to play.
Yeah, Gronk did it too, by the way. Gronk came out of retirement. Granted, he played with the GOAT. I hate to say that.
Yeah.
I am a big Brady hater, but you got to call it what it is. The guy is the greatest to ever do it. Let's be real. Yeah. And, he came out of retirement and didn't miss a step. So, there is a precedent for, a guy taking a year or a couple of years off.
Who just wants to play is what he's pretty much saying at this point.
Or a couple of years off like Gronk did. He, got back on the field and was able to be productive again. So hopefully that's the case with Waller. The way I see it, nothing to lose here.
Yeah, I think it's we'll see. I'll say this, he had his two best years under Frank Smith. Yeah. That's when he went over the 1,000 yards. So Frank Smith is the biggest reason why he's here. Obviously, he believes that he's got something else left. So I'll trust the coach. Frank Smith he hasn't done nothing wrong for us yet. I don't believe.
And by the way, this will be the best quarterback that he's playing with. He's playing.
Yes.
The Giants were a mess from Tommy DeVito, Cutlets or whatever, and Daniel Jones. He didn't have anyone special throwing him the ball in Las Vegas. So, you're paired up with Tua, who's a precision point passer that can get him the ball. He's got great hands.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great ball catcher. Yeah. He can run with the ball after the catch. So, again, I think it's a under the radar move that does sound crazy, but I think the upside could potentially be there.
Yeah. I'm this much optimistic about it. We'll see. Training camp will make me feel better. If I see him out there and he looks good, hey, we're back. We're back.
Running routes around these 20-something-year-old kids. I'll be like, yep, there he is.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you. Yep, we're going to Super Bowl.
Yeah. We'll see.
Mike McDaniel, how y'all feel about him? You think this is make or break year? Has to be, right?
Man, Adrian, this, we get asked this a lot anywhere. We're in public, everywhere. Here's the thing, we've seen how bad it could be with our coaching. Is it as bad as it was? No. But is it great? No. Has he lived up to our expectations? No. There's a lot of issues with him. Play calling, time management, leadership. We really don't know what's going on in the locker room. We're hearing a lot of things. He said this. I'm frustrated personally, but then again, I'm frustrated with the whole Dolphin organization, all the way up from Greer, all the way up to Stephen Ross. This is a make or break year for him, for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely that, and then some. I think we're at a point here where this fan base, and I don't want to, say that we should celebrate getting to the playoffs and maybe losing. No. Yeah. At this point, it's beyond that. There's talent on this team, as mentioned. You got all pros at a lot of positions.
Too much.
Too much. And then you got a guy like McDaniel who's supposed to be this offensive genius, and what he did with the San Francisco 49ers that got him to a Super Bowl. And then he comes here and he can't win.
Run the ball.
Yeah,
but
running the
they were
I
ball,
running.
exactly.
buy all
Running the
this.
ball goes away from that. Develops quarterbacks supposedly, but he comes here and he can't develop backups. When we need them. So the heat is 100% on him, and I'm at a point where it shouldn't just be win a playoff game. I think he needs to win 2 playoff games to save his job. I know that sounds crazy, but that's my belief. I don't think the expectation with this team and where we haven't been in the last couple of years is for him to just say, "Oh, I'm coming here and look, we made the playoffs. My job is saved." No, we should have made the playoffs and won games 2 years and 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So at this point, you owe me two. You owe me two, and I think that it's got to be a playoff win for sure, and then be really close in that second playoff game for him to keep his job. Otherwise, I'm not going to buy in to what's going on. Remember,
Yeah.
next year some guys are going to be lost, specifically Tyreek. So you have to have a system in place where you can trust the coach to develop players and to keep this thing going once you can retain some of these players.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't feel like he peaked too soon. That 2003 year was, I mean, 2023 year was, I mean, the offense was just at an all-time high,
It,
set records that year. But he came in, the expectations were already pretty high for him because they were calling him an offensive genius and all this stuff. And it's like, this dude never even been a coordinator, let alone a head coach. So why are we putting all this on him? And then that 2023 season, everybody's like, holy shit, he's a genius for real. Like, he's a genius for real. So I think that kind of, and then last year you have the year that you have, especially with the backup QBs that look like they didn't even know how to play. Like they never even played in the NFL before. Not their fault, because it's, to me, it's the coaching for sure. But he this year, yeah, it's if he don't, you're right, bro. If he don't win 2 playoff games, he's probably gone. But if I realistically, if he wins a playoff game, he's coming back. So if he wins one, he's coming back. Just because we haven't won one in how
yeah,
long, they're gonna be like, oh, next step is
right.
AFC Championship. It's, you know what's gonna happen, man.
And just because him
We
and
don't want it to.
so protected, like they just have
Yeah.
like it kind of reminds me of like those balls that people go in and you like roll down a hill and like nothing can hit you. Like Greer and McDaniel are in these balls that they're just rolling down hills and everything's bouncing.
Bubble boys.
Yes. They're just protected and they're just not going anywhere and we're just burning.
Unfortunately, Ross is enabling them to do that, and that's
Yeah.
a mistake.
Yeah.
You cannot accept this kind of lack of production, if you will, and you're taking a step backwards. You got to address that. And the most concerning thing, you're right. He had this amazing 2023 year. The offense is clicking on all cylinders, but then you have these 2 years that are disappointment. And more concerning than that is you have players that have left because they don't want to be here. So that's a big concern. Supposedly, players are showing up late to meetings and whatnot. So now
Yeah.
you're setting a bad example for the other players, specifically the younger players. Seeing the veterans are getting away with stuff, so that doesn't look good. And then the
That's
other
disrespectful to the coach, though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
100%, you don't respect the coach. So how are we supposed to respect him as our head coach as well? And then the biggest thing of all is the lack of in-game decisions. Play call not being be able to go off on
Time
time.
management.
Not able
Yeah.
to delay a game penalty or mismanaging his challenges.
Ugh.
Things
has he
like
won
that.
it? Has he even won a challenge? I don't think he's won a
Yes.
challenge since
I
he's
don't
been
think
here.
he has. So these are all things where he should have figured this out by now. And that's what I'm saying. This is his last chance. And I agree with you. If he does win one, he'll likely stay. But we're owed more than one at this point. And he's been here for 3 years. Normally, after 3 years, you know what you're doing. It shouldn't have to be like, oh, we're going to keep this guy around because we hope or he's about to figure it out. No, you either know it at this point or you don't. So we're in year 4. He owes us 2 playoff wins. That's the way I see it.
Number one word you said right there, hope. That's hope should be synonymous with the Dolphins. It's always hope every year. But I mean, I hope that they do something this year. I'm I'm not expecting much. I'm not expecting much, so I don't want to. I'm just doing that for my mental health, so I don't get myself disappointed. Because I'm gonna go in thinking we're gonna lose every game, just so every win can feel gratifying, and I can just live my life like, yeah, we won. At least we won. At least we won. So that's what I'm gonna do. But the optimistic side of me thinks 12 wins. So, but
Yeah.
I need to stay down here, not up here. I need to stay down here. I don't know about y'all, but I need to stay down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it's a tough division, right? And it got tougher with the two coaches that came in. The Jets, got Aaron Glenn, former player that has been there and he knows, so he's going to change that culture around. And Mike Vrabel,
Another running quarterback too.
yeah, right. Justin Fields, he ran for days against us when he was with the Bears. We were at
Yes.
that game actually,
He's
but
still running.
he's still running. But and Mike Vrabel, I love Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
He's a guy that coaches. Do you think Mike Vrabel's going to put up with the players showing up late to meetings? I mean, that'll end on day one. That guy's not going to, he
He'll
comes from,
fight him.
yeah, that'll be a fighter. You'll be released. He'll show you the
Yeah.
door right out. So, we need that kind of leadership. And again, just like you, I'm hopeful that we are able to get that this year, but it's tough.
But even our schedule, if I can,
Yeah,
our schedule, we start the season in Indy. Obviously, we lost in Indy last year, unfortunately. They just lost their GM, their owner,
their
Jim
owner,
Irsay.
their owner.
Jim
Yeah, the owner.
Irsay.
R.I.P.
So
Jim. Yeah.
they're gonna if you don't believe they're gonna be flying out their first game to honor Irsay, that's a whole thing. Then we got to go to Spain to play Daniels out there, who is coming off a great season last year.
Yeah.
So if he's
Yes.
doing well, then you go to Pittsburgh in December against an Aaron Rodgers and a Jonnu Smith. So we don't have an easy schedule this year at all. And then all of our obviously AFC East games. So you have a coach who we don't know about, and then you have a schedule that we're not maybe in our favor as well. The only thing that's really in our favor is that we're playing Buffalo in September. We are not
Yeah.
going to Buffalo in the cold. So that is like a big hallelujah. There won't be snowballs thrown at us. But our schedule, it's an interesting schedule this year.
It's tough.
Yeah.
The ending of it. The ending is a little tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope we're peaking by that time.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
And but we all know one injury away from the season being over, and that's Tua.
Yep.
If Tua does not stay healthy, we could just pretty much kiss the season goodbye. We all know this, right?
Fact. You're just speaking facts.
So, I mean, yeah, how do y'all feel about it? Y'all riding with Tua? Y'all Tua riders, or y'all are in the middle, or y'all on the other side of, hey? Because there's a lot. I mean, I never really seen y'all takes on
Yeah.
Tua as
No, I
far
have.
as
I did.
Yeah,
I took a big shot 3 years ago, and people still don't like
Yeah.
it, but my shot wasn't off compared to what I've seen the last 3 years. So I've actually a
there
lot
you
of
go.
people have apologized to me the last year. I made a lot of new friends for it. To be honest with you,
Forgiveness.
yes, I'm a very forgiving person, and they realize I do know sports. So at the end of the day, this man is my quarterback. He's putting on his uniform, and he still represents my team, and he is the quarterback of my team. So I'm going to
Yeah.
support anybody who goes out there, who gives it his all in the uniform that I support. Right? That's how I roll. But at the end of the day, if he's not the guy, he's not the guy. And how many more times do you keep giving him shots and building an offensive line to protect him, giving him all the weapons out there to give him shots at target and stuff. So we've given him so many opportunities to succeed, but if he can't stay healthy, if he can't protect himself, it's like, dang. And he's not that tough, right? And I mean this respectfully, but
Yeah.
we've had quarterbacks, not we, the league. Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben has taken big hits, and Ben has bounced back up. Some of these hits that Tua has taken, should not necessarily knock him out.
Glass body. He got a glass body.
So, Adrian, like I'm very cautious with my take with him because I want to be respectful, but I also want to be honest. So again, I guess I'm kind of in the lines of like, hey, I respect anybody who wears our uniform and goes out there as a dog and is fighting for us. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna say it how it is, and I there are days that I struggle, and there are days that I think, hey, a few years ago, did we make the right decision when we had two guys? Did we pick the right one? And you're knowing who I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Woo! You got me sweating here now.
Yeah, and my thing, look, is the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
You got to win, and unfortunately, number one, he hasn't been available to win in some of these bigger games. And then when he's had the opportunity, his second year against Tennessee got destroyed out in that game. Multiple times been beaten by Josh Allen in Buffalo. The loss at the end of the season against Baltimore at Baltimore, and then that big Sunday night football game, the last game of the year 2 years ago against Buffalo, where the division was on the line and he couldn't win that game either. So at some point or another, you're going to have to win big games. The talent is there, no doubt about it. He's got, he doesn't have a great arm. He's not going to sling it downfield 60 yards like Joe Burrow, but he's got a very serviceable arm, very accurate arm. He's on point. He's a precision passer. He can find his guys. He's a winner. He comes from a winning, program in Alabama. He won in high school at all levels, but he's yet to prove that he can win here. And so I don't understand you got to be on this side of the fence or that side of the fence in this Dolphins community where, you hate Tua, you're wrong, or you got to love Tua. You could be in the middle, and that's where I'm at, because I need to see him prove it. I need to see him prove it. I'm not going to say he's the guy or he's not the guy. I'm going to say that he's the guy that needs to prove that he can win these big games and take us to that next level, because he hasn't done it. Now, she brought up the other guy that we didn't draft in Herbert. He hasn't proven anything either. So this is the way the league works. The guy that we really should have been looking at is Joe Burrow, but we, won too many games that year, and what came out of
Damn
that.
It, Brian Flores.
I know, right? Trying to get cute at the end and get these wins that didn't matter. But no, man, he's got to prove it. He's got to be healthy and be out there, and we'll see from there. I tell you, he is one hit away from potentially retiring. So that's another concern you have to have. I mean, how many more concussions is the league going to allow? Is his family going to allow? Is his new wife going to allow?
His kids,
so,
all that.
This is where we're at with Tua, and injuries are part of the game, but he's sustained so many that it's really a really big cause of concern, football aside, for his personal life, his well-being. And then, you got to win these big games, man. You got to win these big games.
Definitely. I'm right there, right down that line. But don't know, everybody says the same thing about him. And they say, "Oh, give him a line, give him a run game." But it's like, hey, why everything got to be perfect for this dude? If everything could be perfect for every quarterback, if every quarterback had a line and a run game and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they'd probably be playing great. Just saying, every starting quarterback at least. So everything got to be perfect for him. I really don't like it, man. If you can't make something happen with the stuff you have, that's what all great QBs do. They do not make excuses. And then he can't stay healthy. Even the season where he played all 17 games, we still didn't win a playoff game. So there's that. But people attack you for anything. You say anything about Tua, man, but probably not going to be our quarterback in a couple years. Just saying.
I'm kind of there. Yep.
Yeah.
So I really like y'all takes. I like that you trying to be respectful and everything, but he's probably not going to be here in a couple of years. So
I really try, and I sometimes I think, is he selfish or selfless? Right? Is he selfish in the fact that he wants to continue his career for himself, or is he it's a very fine line. Like, or is he selfish knowing that, hey, he's not the player that we're hoping he is, but he's doing it because he selfishly wants to be. So I just, I'm more of the side of no, but I tread that water very cautiously, because again, it's still my team. I love it. I support it, but
of course,
I do think that the future may be a little different.
Go win the Super Bowl this year, and everybody will be like, "You're the greatest."
Yeah,
put his poster above our bedroom and everything. Dan Marino will be replaced. It'll be a whole different thing.
Oh, they're gonna burn Miami down. If we win the Super Bowl, it's gonna be outrageous. Thought the Panthers parade was something.
It'll be. No, we won't sleep for weeks. It'll be.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of the Panthers, you guys went to the parade, right?
Absolutely.
We were there. Yeah.
I got to put on. We're going to talk Panthers. I got to switch hat. I got to put on my.
Oh, do it. Yeah, that's right.
We can talk Panthers.
Right.
That's
USA,
it.
USA.
How hot was that parade?
Okay, so but here's where we stood this year. We were really lucky.
Yeah.
We were at the Marin Hotel, and
So,
but last year we weren't. and we were on the beach, which it was it was a hot day, but we were in a very good spot. We kind of had a little shade, but it was the hottest day, and there was
Yeah.
no rain, no overcast. But I'd rather be hot and sweaty than be in Canada and be a second place loser. So I mean, I would take that any day. I will tell you that it was so hot that EMTs were carrying people nonstop. They didn't really show that. Obviously, they're not going to show that on TV, but 10, 12, 14 people back and forth on EMT carts passing out and everything. So a lot
Yeah.
of people who are not used to that, there was a lot of health issues.
The
Seriously,
conditions,
yeah.
it was really hot out there, no doubt. But again, you sacrifice, I
crowded.
guess, for you want to put that aside if you're able to witness that
Yeah.
beautiful parade.
Yeah.
It was an awesome
And crowded too,
celebration.
Adrian. I'll tell you, like wherever, even though
Yo.
we were at the hotel, we were still sardine. There was 6 people behind me, 10 next to me. Like no matter where you were on that route, you're still and then when the players come as close as they can to like the fences and stuff, you're being even more.
Everybody's, yeah.
Yeah. So it was just. But yeah, I'll take sweating off my eyelashes any day for seeing what we saw. It was an amazing experience, and I can't wait till next year.
Yes.
Same. I'm so glad y'all didn't go to the beach because next year I said the same. Hotel all day. Be prepared.
Yeah.
Because that beach was brutal and it was so many more people than it was last year.
Yeah.
So, and everybody was, you know how last year you could kind of like walk through the crowd? There
Yeah.
was none of that this year. None of it. Everybody was laid out and it was like, and just like planted. So nobody was really, unless you walk into the Port of John, that's it.
Yeah.
But it
You
was so hot. That sand was, I'm telling you, the sand probably gave you 3rd-degree burns.
Burning.
Seriously.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So you made a good point with that. So last year we also went to Club 11, which is right by our house. So it's an easy trip to Club 11. Lou looks at the
Nice.
strippers. It's all win situation, right? For all of us, right? So last year we went, it started at like 11. We got there like 10:45. We ended up going right by the stage. No problem. This year, same approach. We got there on 11. Adrian, we couldn't get nowhere near it. Nowhere near the stage. We were backs against the back wall. So exactly what you
Wow.
said, like this year, the number of people, it was the numbers have just tripled, which is good. You want to see that for your city.
Yeah.
You want to see people drinking the juice, the franchise getting support, but everything from the parade to Club 11 to the autograph signing to Elbow Room to the stores with the merchandise, it is just tripled, and Panther Fever is alive and well.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. You guys loved all the free agents? The
We
free
did.
agency signings?
How could
I
you
mean,
not?
Sam Bennett, of course.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not love it? I mean, the MVP of the playoffs, and he was incredible. And then, the big three obviously was Bennett, Aaron
Marshawn.
Ekblad, and Brad Marchand. And everybody was saying, hey, look, if they sign one, it's really good. If they sign two, it would be incredible. I don't think they're going to sign three. And yet Bill Zito was able to get all three on board, which is historical. I mean, what he did here, and the way he was able to maneuver the money and get everybody back when many people were saying, hey, they're probably going to just get one. If they get two, would be awesome. No way they're getting three. And then he gets all three. So this is set up. We talked about it on our show before. Through 2030, they have the majority of their main players, including their best player is the captain. Barkov is considered the overall best player. You got your clutch guy, your passion guy in Kachuk. You got Verhage, who's a dog. You got Lindell,
Seth Jones,
Forsling. You got all these
Reinhardt.
guys locked up. Reinhardt, I forgot to
and then
Dogs.
Bob's contract ends next year, but guess what? They're gonna resign and Bob's gonna retire with us anyway. So even Bob ain't going nowhere. Like we are
Exactly
in for sure.
But before Bob, all the guys that I just mentioned, and you mentioned Rhino, all those guys are signed, sealed, and delivered through 2030. They are signed for 5 more seasons. So, this is unprecedented that you're going to keep all these guys together. They're not just trying to run it back. They're trying to run it back for multiple years. And these parades on Fort Lauderdale Beach could be the norm and not the things that we don't expect. They should be a yearly thing.
And Adrian, these 3 guys, they could have went anywhere. They could have went, I mentioned Detroit, and they would have got paid more. Like they would have got for sure. Okay, maybe not
way more.
So for them to
way more.
say, hey, listen, I'm good. I don't need the more money. I'm happy where I'm at. I believe in this franchise. I believe in Bill Zito. I like where I'm at. I'll take the less money and stay here. You don't see any Dolphin players doing that. Jimmy Butler ain't doing that. So that just goes to show you the culture that Bill Zito and Paul Maurice has built in Sunrise. It is astonishing. And for Bill Zito not to be the GM of the year just blows my freaking mind.
Thank you.
Ridiculous.
Oh
Amen.
man.
Ridiculous.
I don't know how in the world he did. I mean, let alone last year or the
Sweating.
year before that, what he's been doing for the
Mm,
past few years he's been here. Oh man.
I know.
You don't give it to him this year and we go
Criminal.
back to back. And then Seth Jones and Marshawn were like integral parts of this run to
Yeah.
win this cup this year. Like definitely probably two of the most important pieces for sure. And still don't get it, but that's okay. We'd rather have cups than awards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take it,
And
but
and the mastermind of all this, obviously Bill Zito, but man, Paul Maurice. What
so
more
good.
can
Oh,
you say about this guy? This guy is a legend, undefeated in
yes.
Game Sevens. Game Seven this year in Toronto, like nothing happened. A lot of people would have been down. Oh, you could have closed them out in 6 at home. You don't do that now. It's a Game Seven back in Toronto, a city and a team that starved to win a playoff series, especially a Game Seven. And Paul Maurice, cool, calm, collected.
Just a cool
There's
guy.
no fear, no nervousness. Just, hey, we're going to go out there and play the game. We're going to win the game. And sure enough, he does it every time. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better leader among men and a
Yes.
voice in that locker room than Paul Maurice.
And so respected too. Very respected.
Yes. Been around a long time. Been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
And the team definitely reflects his personality for sure. Cool, calm, and collected under pressure,
Mhm.
but straight dogs. That's it. We got a team full of pit bulls, and they ain't going nowhere till at least 2030. So you gotta love it, man. Definitely have a chance to win at least, with the next 5 years, at least 5 more cups. So
So exciting. It's really, really exciting. So we're here for the ride. We're gonna be here for the
yeah,
ride, and we look forward to seeing you next year on the beach, or not on the beach,
yeah.
at the
No,
Hotel Marriott
no, yeah.
with us.
Let me know, because I'm gonna have to book that in like January
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
for
yeah. No,
sure.
we got you for sure. We got you.
But no beach, no, never again.
No, no, no,
That
no.
was too much. Even when you get there early, it's still
yeah.
the just 8 hours in the sun. It's a little ridiculous.
But last year we were beach with lightning, so I think we had it kind of maybe a little
Yeah,
worse when we were like in the open area next to the ocean with lightning bolts coming down at us. So both were
that
pretty.
was nice though. It wasn't hot.
Yeah.
I also was scared I was going to fry my head off with a lightning bolt too. So I
True.
mean,
A
yeah,
lot of people, a lot of people
trying to
did.
get a little
That
sun
was pretty scary.
off.
That was pretty scary. I had my kids out there too, so it's
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah,
woo, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's still a good time. Glad we made it through it, right?
You
Yes.
did it. Here to tell it.
By the way, you
That's it.
mentioned kids. I love the Father's Day episode you did. That was awesome. So
Oh, appreciate it, man.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that was their idea. They wanted to do it. I was like, yeah, why not?
kids are great.
Wanted to
Awesome.
ask me some questions. I had some questions. So yeah, it was a good time. Good
Yes.
time. They're good kids, man. Real good kids.
Yes, they are.
So but yeah, man. The only thing else I got to talk about, and I'm gonna just give the floor to Ashley because me
Uh,
Me, I used to love the Marlins, especially like growing up. I was around for the '97 and the 2003. Went to the parade and or the celebration at what it was called Pro Player Stadium
Yeah.
yeah.
in in '97. So that was a fun time. Love all the old Marlins players, really great players that we done had over the years. But this new regime that's in here and just messing it up. So I seen something today, and I'm gonna give you the floor, Ashley. I just wanted to say, Shy Giltris Alexander, I think makes almost as much per year as the Marlins payroll.
Yeah. That's the whole team.
That's ridiculous. We can't have that. But I will give it to them. They the only way you build a fan base is to get a team good. So the ownership has to make an effort to make the team good and stop trading away all the good players that we have. And then the fan base will come back. There's some diehards now, like yourself. There's some diehards that'll never go away from the team. So But I don't know. I haven't talked about them in years just because of that. But yeah, it's been years, man. I'm not with it. I'm not with a team that just wants to be bad. That's what it seems like. But
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Ashley. They 9 out of 10 this run they're on. So
I'll give you my little elevator pitch, right? Okay, so Adrian, my
all
story's
right.
a little different than yours. So you've seen the 97-2003 season. I was in New Jersey and I was a Red Sox fan at the time. So I knew what was going on, but I didn't appreciate it because I wasn't a Marlins fan back then.
Yeah.
So I'm still waiting to be part of the Marlins championship parade. So I'm excited for that to happen one day. And I became a Marlins fan when I first moved down here around 2008, 2009. All right. So the Marlins, right? Frustrating the past few seasons. We've had a lot of changes all around, right? We know that the Marlins have a tendency to get rid of good talent. We've seen this. The one that really hurt me the most was Giancarlo Stanton, Mike Stanton, right?
Yes.
Right. That one, I remember he was actually the first Marlins player. You don't even know this about me. You learn things about your wife. When I became a Marlins fan, right? When I started drinking the Miami juice when I moved down here, that was actually the first Marlins jersey that I got.
Nice.
And then I also got like a Dan Uggla jersey too. So the Marlins
Mm.
they just have a bad rap, right? And I do believe that it also started happening once they became the Miami Marlins. They left the Florida Marlins. We're big supporters of the old school logo. Anytime we go anywhere with Florida Marlins stuff, we grab it, right? So that needs to go back. But let's bring it to today's Marlins, right? People don't respect the organization. Just go to the stadium. There's 5,000 people there on any given weekday. We were there on Tuesday. And out of those 5,000, about a half of them are either fans who are chasing ballparks, meaning they're trying to get to hit all their ballparks that they've gone to, or they're visiting fans. That's a problem right there, right? Then you have an organization who gets rid of talent. We saw this with Luis Rise most recent last year.
Chaz, yeah.
On and on, right? I mean, I could sit here and tell
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
Sandy. And then last year we lost Sandy Alcantara. The year before, he came off a Cy Young season, was a Cy Young award, and then last year he had to get Tommy John's surgery. So this year we expected Sandy to come back because they say once you get Tommy John surgery, you come back and you even come back better.
Right.
That has not happened in Sandy.
Well,
He's starting to build it up now. So the Marlins, we picked up Jeff Conine's son, Griffin Conine, injured. So that's another one injured after that. So present day Marlins. All right, Ash, bring it on. We have won 9 out of the 10 last games, but a little more. We swept the San Francisco Giants at home. That has never happened. If anything, the Giants do the deed to us. For us to sweep the Giants, amazing. Then we took care of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Even before that, Lou reminded me, we took 2 out of 3 from our nemesis up there, arch nemesis, the Braves. We just took 2 out of 3 from the Twins. So we're looking great. We are honestly on paper right now, short week and a half, the hottest team on baseball. Crazy to say. Augustin Ramirez, young guy from Dominican Republic, our catcher, sometimes our DH. He's going to be on the home run derby. Hands down, this kid is amazing. He plays back and forth with Nick Fortes, so they kind of fight for that catching spot. Our third baseman, Connor Norby, excellent defensive-wise. Nothing can go past the guy. And then our pitching, Edward Cabrera on Tuesday, I had to fix my eyeballs. I said, who is this guy? It looked amazing. So the missing, to bring it back home, because I can go on and on. I'm so excited to be able to talk like this, right? So
I see the excitement.
Man.
The enthusiasm is radiating off of you.
I'm sweating. I keep sweating. No, it's such a fun time to see this team. Now, could it be a fluke thing? Very well. But you know what? I'm here for it. We're season ticket holders. We have a nice 20-game package. We go up every game, good attitude. We enjoy it. We have a great time, win or lose. And so the last week and a half, it's been fun. And I'm excited to see where this goes. Now, we know the All-Star break is coming up in 2 weeks. So that'll be interesting to see kind of how things progress before and after that. Obviously, after that is a chase for playoff spots and seeing how that lands. But
way away from that.
I know. But right now, in the world of the Marlins, it is excellent. It is just
okay. All right. If I may counter,
negative Nancy here. Go ahead.
It's a mirage right now. It's a great story. It's a great story, but it's just not sustainable because they don't have
Where's the mute button?
The talent from that other teams have. Now, look, I hear what you're saying, and I'm
Thank
with you. What they've done here, recently in getting players and then getting rid of them, not signing them long term, or even when you sign them long term, like a Yelich or a Stanton, you end up
Trade
trading
them.
them anyway. The bottom line is the team will only invest in the players if the fans show out. Unfortunately, the fans are not going to show out for a bad product or a team that's not winning. This town more than any other town, Miami gets a really bad rap. But one thing about Miami fans is they show up, when the team matters. There's other teams that show up, and even when the team's winning, they're very casual. They're not as passionate. I've been to the Kaseya Center, and it's a very loud arena when it's white hot and it's playoff
Yeah.
season and all that. And I can't even imagine what Hard Rock Stadium is going to be like when the Dolphins are hosting a playoff game. So the Miami market is fickle and more laid back, but when the teams win, they show up, and not every city could say that, and not every city also. I don't care if you're Boston or New York or Philly. If the team's bad, they don't show up either. There's very few cities that will support even losers. So bottom line is the team's got to win. I do think that this go around, they got a guy in place, the GM Peter Bendix, that came from Tampa Bay, and they also had their issues with limited payroll, and they were able to crank out winners consistently. So we're hoping that as these trades that he's made produce prospects, you're able to keep them longer term. And if you do have to flip some players, you're able to restock the system. And this guy does it better than anybody else, as Tampa Bay was a winner for a long time. And fun fact, Major League Baseball has the best control over any of the sports, because you have to have 6 years of major league service time before becoming an unrestricted free agent. So 6 years is a lot of seasons. That's not the way it is in basketball or football, where after year 2 or year 3, they're due a new contract. So, if they can identify these players, and so far so good, these players are coming, onto the big league club and producing, we're going to have a shot at longevity, and then hopefully people come back out to the ballpark, including yourself, with
the kids,
and bring the kids
run
out.
the bases.
Because at the end of the day, man, baseball is still the national pastime. It's the only sport that does not have a clock. I know they got the pitch clock now, but the game's 28-0 in football. In the fourth quarter, that clock's winding, and eventually you're going to reach a point where, hey, you can't come back because time is against you. In baseball, you play to the last out, so you could be down 10-1. You still got to get that third out in order to end the game. And so I love it for that and many other aspects. And I wish that the ownership treated us fans better, and we could support winning baseball more often.
But we have a good time.
Definitely. Yeah, it seems like a good time, man. But it's bad when the tickets are cheap and people still not showing up. So
No doubt.
I mean, but hey, man, Marlins gun Marlin. That's what they become like almost like in the Jets category to me, almost just wanting to lose, just doing everything possible to lose. And then I mean, I would really love to see him get back. You know what I'm saying? Just because the history of the Marlins is very rich, and they got a lot of diehard fans, man. It just they deserve it, especially riding through with the team. It's just like kind of like the Panthers, but at least we won. We've won before, but like going through all these years of nothing, it's like, oh, it gets tough, man, to be a fan, definitely. But we're all Dolphin fans, so it's all good.
We know that. But yeah, going back to that, you got a team like the Chicago Cubs, right, that won it in 1908 and had to wait to 2016 to get that next World Series. You're talking about a whole different lifetime of people that never saw that first one.
You saw both.
I saw both. But look, the Marlins are fortunate enough to have two, and hopefully, speaking about the Panthers, there was a time when the Panthers, you couldn't give tickets away for that either. I mean, there's stories that came out on radio stations and everything where, people had blocks of tickets that they would just be passing out at the local Subway shop or wherever, Sawgrass Mall, in the mall, to try to get people to go to the game, and look at them now. So, everything has its cycle. Hopefully we figured it out, and we're able to see a winner here soon enough.
Well, we got tickets if you ever want to take the kids. So not that we're passing out tickets, but we're more than happy to in your hand to take the kids.
You probably could, though. You probably could.
could. We'd give them to you with love, not just
There you go. There
like
you go.
treat my seat good.
That's it. Keep it warm for next time, man.
Yeah.
No, you
No,
guys have
definitely. I mean, it's definitely something, the kids will love for sure.
let us
I
know.
don't know, man. I don't know. They kind of don't even want to look at them. I'm to that point right now, but
Well, I'll take the kids then. I'll take the kids to a
well,
game.
there you go.
See
There
Ashley
you
will
go.
take them.
Me and you'll go hang out, and she
The
can take
way
the
See
the
kids.
way
Ashley
she
will take
talk
them.
about it, the way she talks about it though, it makes you like want to go watch the team though. For
Adrian,
real.
between you and I, honestly, and a lot of people don't ask me this, but baseball is my favorite sport. I'll
Oh
ride back
wow.
with football. I played basketball 14 years. Whatever. Baseball is my favorite sport. Baseball is my
That's
number one love.
damn, that's what's up.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
what's up. You're a unique one for sure, because that ain't a lot of
let them
people's favorite
know.
sport.
Let them know. No
Oh man, what's your favorite sport?
So it used to be
golf.
basketball.
Oh,
No.
I love the Heat coming up, man. I saw the Heat. Yeah, I'm fortunate here. I saw all the teams in my youth because the Miami was a one sport town, just the
oh
Dolphins
yeah,
for many years, and
yep.
then the Heat started in '88. The Panthers and Marlins both in '93. So I was coming up and as heavy into sports when they started playing, and I played basketball as well. So my favorite player coming up was Magic Johnson. Still to this day, man,
Oh
if I
nice.
had to pick one guy, MJ's my second favorite, Michael Jordan. But man, one guy that's going to make everybody around you better, that was Magic Johnson. And so I grew up watching that end of that Laker dynasty with Pat Riley, and then the Heat came in '98, and I fell in love with the original logo, everything about the
88.
Heat. That was it was an
Yeah.
amazing time. So the Heat were, but I think now the Dolphins are just because I'm so eager for them to win that I just invest so much time, a lot of disappointment, everything that goes with it. I want to see it through. I want to see the Dolphins be a winner.
Same, same. Who's your guys' favorite Dolphin player, like of all time?
That's Marino for me, man. Marino,
That's
what is it,
everybody's.
man?
That
Yeah,
don't count, man. That's everybody's.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have one?
yeah, no, mine's the reason why I became a Dolphin fan, and it's Anthony Fasano. And I joke about that, but
Oh wow.
yeah, when
Good
I moved
shit.
down here from Jersey, he was from Jersey, connected with him like that, and it wasn't a good fit originally for me here. Obviously, I've grown to love Miami, but Fasano is the reason why I became a Dolphin fan. And then next to that would be Richmond Webb, just because I've developed so much love for him. He's a big brother
He's
to
the
me.
best.
So
That's
yeah,
what's up.
I mean, Dan Marino, yeah, of course. We love Dan Marino. We love Zach Thomas. We love Jason Taylor, right? We love those
Yeah,
guys. But mine is Anthony Fasano in Richmond.
that's what's up, man.
Crazy.
Ricky Williams for me.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah. Run, Ricky, run.
see, I'm a little
Yeah,
angry at Ricky because he couldn't put the and
Don't you be a judger.
yeah,
no, I'm not. But
yeah,
then it's like he got a couple chances, and then he just pretty much. I want to say he was selfish because he says, "Man, I'd rather go out there and do my thing than be playing football." And it really set us back because he had all the
yeah.
talent in the world, maybe the most exciting player besides Marino that is worn the aqua and orange. Because man, when he had the ball in his hands, he was amazingly special to watch.
That's fair.
Ricky said he ran better on it. He did. He
Never ran.
literally said that. So, I mean, the way it's going nowadays too, it's like, come on, man. If this would have happened 30 years ago when
True,
Ricky was, you know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
would have been, boy, Ricky would have had 2,000 yards every season.
Can Ricky
absolutely.
still play asking for a friend?
Oh, I know, right? Seriously. Just do some short yardage for us, brother.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
For real.
Hit it on the side if you have to hit it on the side. It's do what you got
That's
to do.
it.
Dispensaries are right
That's
here.
it.
You're good.
Nah, man. I just want to thank y'all for coming on. This has been awesome. It's so great to finally talk to y'all, man. It's everything I could have imagined for sure. And let's do it on your show sometime.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
please, whenever. We're
All
around all
right.
season. But you got to talk a little Marlins with me, though. You got to promise you'll talk a little Marlins. Little
That's
Marlins.
it.
A
I
little,
will I will look at some posts
do a
and
little, I'm going to test you. I'll be like,
I'll get to know a couple players. I don't think I can name probably one player right
I
now.
think you can. Based on what I said, I think you could at least get one name.
Oh, Sandy.
Yeah.
No,
So,
see, I don't even know his last name.
Alcantara. It's my
Alcantara.
last name, Alcantara, because I'm married.
Alcantara.
Ashley Dominguez Alcantara.
Nah, he's really good.
That's
He's an
what's
ace.
up.
You know, he's
All you need to know is
Yeah. He won the Cy Young. He
he did.
definitely really good. So for sure,
but no, we'd love to have you
man.
sometime. Come on, especially as we get closer to football season, talk some
Oh, I know.
training camp stuff. So definitely for sure.
Yeah. You guys gonna be at training camp, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna be there the first day, and then we'll for sure be at Members Day, and then the day after.
Okay.
A little tough during the week, because we both work, but for sure on the weekends.
Yeah, same. Yeah, the weekend ones I'm definitely trying to go. So
All right, let's link up for
Let us
sure.
know. Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
happen. Yeah.
Then we go to Marlins
Let's
game
get
after.
some, yeah, let's do that. Get some den for sure. Gotta eat, man. We gotta eat.
Oh, I said Marlins game after.
I know. I said, and then get some dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, after.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you said. I
Yeah.
thought you skipped that part. I'm like, no, Marlins game first. Shenanigans
We
after.
gotta eat. They got good food there?
Yeah.
Honestly, like A1
Okay.
food, really good food.
Oh, all right. So we'll eat there. But
I'm telling you.
Sound
Yeah.
good to me.
Take it from me. I know a little bit about eating here or there. The
Oh,
Marlins have
I'm
an amazing,
They
amazing.
really do.
Yeah, they got whatever you want, they got it. And
Everything.
all throughout the ballpark, different
So
stations
good.
of all the our venues down here. They probably,
Okay.
I would say Panthers second, but Marlins is number one.
I
man.
agree with that
Food at the
statement.
ballpark is incredible.
I do agree with that.
You're biased though.
No, not really. Why?
No, I'm
She's
biased.
biased.
Oh, she's biased.
She gonna pick
Oh.
the Marlins over everything.
Well, no, I
It's her
will tell you.
favorite sport.
No, well, I have a very strict diet. There's a lot of foods I can't eat, but I will tell you, like
Oh,
their
okay.
cookies, their pizza, the stuff that I love to eat that I can eat.
That
Like,
don't sound like a diet.
well, no. I can't eat like meats and stuff. So, but
That's a whole other
Oh,
story.
alright.
yeah,
But listen, what enhances the food there too is they put it like the ice
they make
cream.
with love.
The ice cream they put in the helmet, in the little mini helmet. The
Oh,
nachos
nice.
they put in the batting helmet. The hot dog
A
comes.
lot of novelty stuff.
It's really
No long lines.
the attention to detail and the quality of the food and the variety of food that they have there is
Right.
top notch, man. Really
Yeah,
good.
really
No
good.
long lines. There's nobody in the
Nobody there.
No,
Yeah,
you just walk.
you said that.
I said
You set
no,
that
no.
up.
I said no long lines.
Yeah, because there's nobody there. You just set them up
because there's
the show.
nobody
I'm trying to
there.
sell the Marlins. I'm trying to sell the Marlins here. He
There
just
we go.
told
Yeah.
I'm telling my kids.
Fresh food, no lines,
But
no
guess
lines
what?
in the
I did my job
bathroom.
because now
Sit
Adrian.
wherever you want.
Okay, but I did my job because Adrian said he's not going to
You
go to
did.
Marlins games. Now he's saying he's going to go, so I'm doing my job.
Now
by
I'ma
recruiting
go.
people in, so I'm doing my job.
Now I'm gonna go. Y'all got me. You sold me with food.
I'm
Once you said food, anytime you say anything good about food, I'm there. Trust me.
bringing
I
more
am
fans to the
there.
stadium. I'm doing my due diligence. Bring more fans to the stadium.
That's it. That's it. You did the job tonight for sure.
Thank you.
All right, man. You guys get out of here. Hey, you guys hitting your 1 year soon, right?
For what? For a match?
Anniversary? Yeah.
When's our anniversary, Lou?
Yes, our wedding
Uh-oh.
anniversary. We got married September 24th.
Okay.
We're coming up in a couple of months here. It'll be a 1 year anniversary. So yeah.
All right, man. That's awesome, man. That's gonna be great, right? You guys big trip plan?
We have a big trip planned in 2 weeks. We're gonna go to Tennessee. We're doing
Nice.
we just planned that yesterday, to be honest with you. But for our wedding anniversary, we're actually gonna be coming off the Buffalo trip, so we're gonna be in Toronto. But so everything we decided to get married around football season, so we can always just celebrate it with the Dolphins.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That
You
is
better
awesome,
You
really.
better know the wedding anniversary. You know the wedding anniversary.
Yeah. Big points. You got a lot of points tonight.
24.
For sure.
You did good. Good job, big dog.
The boy dropped a 40 burger tonight. Let's
Yeah.
go.
What do you want for dinner? Let me go cook it for you. You want me to go
All
to-
right, man. I will talk to you guys soon. All right.
Yes.
All right, bye, Adrian.
Let's
Thank
do
you
that.
so much.
All
Have
right.
a good-
Appreciate y'all, man.
Good 4th of July and a good weekend, man. Give my best to the kids, and we will see you
For
soon.
sure. Happy 4th, guys. For sure, man. And in the great words of Jackie Moon, everybody love everybody. Goodbye.